What's up guys, today I'll be breaking down and reviewing the legendary pulse rifle in Destiny called Smite of Merain. This weapon can only be gotten by beating Oryx himself in the Taken King raid, and it's not a guarantee to drop, so don't assume you're just going to get it because you've beaten Oryx. Aesthetically, it looks like a weapon that's covered with a whole lot of bones. It even looks like a dog when you're handling it and looking direct at the barrel. Well, at least I think it looks that way, and I personally like the look of it. Statistically, the gun itself starts with a 300 to 310 base damage depending on your raid drop. It is different per drop. Mine dropped at 308, which is on the higher end, so no problems for me. The fire rate's listed at 66%. It has an impact rating of 14%, a range of 41%, a stability rating of 66, which is quite high, quite good, and a reload percentage of 45. The magazine size starts at 30, which is nice, and it fires in 3-round bursts because it's a pulse rifle. On preliminary look, it has that medium impact pulse rifle model. It's a good balance between the low impact, high fire rate and vice versa. And the great news is that the high stability and the 30-round magazine puts some good DPS out there. It's a nice weapon. And that's before we get to the perks. In terms of PvP damage output, it hits for 22 on body shots and 33 on headshots. With regard to the skill tree, all Smite of Merains are the same minus 1 perk because they're raid weapons. They all deal kinetic damage, and you have an always active perk on called Will of Light, which does extra damage to Taken enemies, which comes in great handy for strikes with the Taken remix versions, like the Undying Mind or other types of maps like that, and even the Taken King raid, as many bosses have the second half of the boss fights become Taken enemies instead of Hive. You have 3 clear options in terms of ballistics: linear compensator, which adds but makes recoil more predictable, as well as gives a slight buff to range and impact; accurized ballistics, which increases range and impact but also recoil; and lastly, field choke, which does exactly the same as accurized ballistics. My choice is linear compensator though, because a recoil that's predictable is very easy to counter, and the slight buff to range and impact is certainly worth it. There's no real detriment there. When breaking down the skill tree, the first perk is called Cocoon, which automatically reloads your weapons from your reserves when the weapon is stowed away. And this is important. If you switch to a primary or heavy weapon after you're emptying your magazine, or no, primary or secondary, it will be reloaded for you when you switch back to it, provided you waited about 6 seconds. So for maximizing DPS, especially in a raid boss encounter, this helps an awful lot because you don't have to worry about losing DPS during reloads or switching weapons. So say for example, I'm using the raid sniper rifle and this weapon. If I unload all of the raid sniper rifle rounds and switch quick to another weapon to keep up the DPS, theoretically, if I shot this weapon for 6 seconds and I had shot the raid weapon, which also has Cocoon, in 6 seconds, I should have an endless cycle of switching back to each other without having to reload, which is awesome. The next 3 perks which you'll have a choice over are Hand Loaded, which extends the range of the weapon; Lightweight, which significantly buffs character agility; and Reinforced Barrel, which dramatically increases range but dramatically cuts stability. I prefer Perfect Balance because Reinforced Barrel kills your stability. Having the extra stability will get you kills at further ranges and calms down a kick that's already kind of pronounced if you can already see it. So for that reason I choose Hand Loaded, because there's no detriment to stability. The last perk of note that I received is called Glass Half Full, which has the bottom half of the magazine deal additional damage. The other possible roles are Life Support, which has the chance to replenish health on a kill when you're low on health; Firefly, which causes enemies to explode on precision kills; and Danger Close, which gives you increased reload speed and handling when 2 or more enemies are in close proximity to you. With regard to my overall impressions, in PvE it's a weapon you can bring literally anywhere. The medium damage model makes it versatile in pretty much anything PvE has to offer, from strikes to dailies to the daily Crucible to the Taken King raid. It can excel in short, medium, and long range, and it has extreme range to it based on its rating. It does have kick between bursts, as you're going to see especially in the Crucible encounters. So don't try to rapid fire this weapon as fast as you can, or as fast as it can shoot, because you're going to notice between bursts the recoil does pick up. Other than that, it shreds nearly all non-shielded enemies with absolutely no issues and no remorse. It's one of the better weapons I use in pretty much every facet of the game. And directly related to that, in PvP, it's a medium to long range specialist because of the high range and good stability it offers. Don't put it in short range though, because even hip firing or getting in at close range, you're bait for shotguns. But other than that, it's a 2 to 3 round burst kill weapon, providing most of your shots are headshots at medium to longer range. It's incredible. So yeah, stay in medium to long range, and it can even rival scout rifles in deeper ranges, which is nice. So overall, it's one of the better weapons you can get from the King's Fall raid in my opinion, and it's easily my favorite overall primary, but I do not currently have the raid scout rifle because I'm more of a scout rifle guy just yet. But other than that, there's no real problems with this weapon because in PvE it can handle itself anywhere, and in short and medium range in PvP it'll slaughter too, or medium to long range it'll slaughter too. Have a good one.